The Constitution will not be saved in Washington, as prophesied by Joseph Smith.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. Mormons. When I call you out for your wickedness and corruption, you're not supposed to prove it. I mean, you don't believe you are, but yet that's exactly what you do, is prove that you are. And it makes you look stupid. It makes you bullies and fret and threat to society at large, not just to me. And so therefore you're not true. And so you live in denial of reality. You have your faith bubbles of your mansion above on earth, and you post videos on your YouTube channel with Nelson, McConkie, and Holland, with the text over the top of them saying, "Our leaders," all of this is in all caps, "Our leaders" is bigger than the rest. And then in quotes, "Lay it all on the line," end quote, "of God," which is highlighted as yellow rather than the white, or "the devil," question mark, also highlighted in yellow. You decide. Really? I get to decide? Okay. Of the devil? But the text is a flame emoji, and if you're not a Mormon, you've never read the Book of Mormon, you don't know how hilarious that is. I refer you to Abinadi. Lay it down, rat. The potential theme song in the description below. Church leaders, lay it all on the line. Is our faith of God or of the devil? Watch before you decide. Mormons, 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 Mormons. So those who've been following my channel, you see the problems that are here. You see the indoctrination of this Mormon. You see their faith bubble. You see their attempt to try to popularize the church as good and true. When, sorry, I've got the quotes from the prophets about how they claim they're false. Benson talked about the keystone is the Book of Mormon, and it has to be literal history in order for this church to be true. That Joseph Smith's visionary accounts are instead have to be literal history in order for this church to be true. And then Hinckley, who said that Joseph Smith's first visionary account has to be literal history or this whole work is a fraud. When it says vision, it's not literal history. So, thus, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a fraud. This is the lies that they've been perpetuating on us. And this Mormon got 5.6K views in just one day, as he's a puppet for the liars and deceivers of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, leading others astray. What is the doctrine, assuming that that's his definition of faith, of the devil? What is the doctrine of God? Which God are you talking about? Is it the Christian God? Is it the Islamic God? Is it the Roman God? Which Roman God? There are lots of them. Is it the Greeks? The Babylonians? You getting the point? You can't just say God. In the beginning, when Egyptian was created, sure, you just had to specify which God was being referred to. You have to understand that it's not our concept of God thanks to Christianity's abomination. Because too many Christians want to mock and laugh Kim Jong-un for being considered a god to his people. Because obviously he's not Trinity. No duh! Wrong definition of God for North Koreans. You got to go back to the ancient understanding. But Christians refuse to do that. Their religion is true, and everybody else is apostate, anti-Mormon, anti-Christ corridors. You can't mix religions. So what are you talking about? And so this is part of the misinformation, miseducation of this Mormon, lying for the church to lead people away from the main topic. And so obviously nobody wants to follow the devil, right, Mormons? What is the symbol of the devil? The inverted pentagram. Does the Church of Jesus Christ have the inverted pentagram? Obviously not, especially not on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple headquarters, or on the Eagle Gate there on State Street at Temple Square, or by Brigham Young placed on the Nauvoo Temple, or on the Logan Temple at the window. Nope, no inverted pentagram in this church. So what's the doctrine of the devil, Satan, Lucifer? Women's bodies are evil, addictive, harmful to children, and must be covered up and hidden. That's one of them. It's part of the taking away of agency of others, life, liberty, and property. That's the doctrine of the devil in Mormonism. He knows this, or she knows it. This is more of a male stunt in Mormonism than a female stunt, but nonetheless, because if it were a female, there'd be prettier pictures. This has got male dominance all over it. A female would include female leaders of the church. For another example. Yep, church is not sexist since 2019. When Jesus finally allowed Mormon women to wear slacks. We're no longer sexist, just like we're no longer racist since 1978. When Jesus finally repented of his racism. People, you think they're dumb, don't you, Mormons? The people aren't going to catch on. Dear God. You wonder why you get so upset when people try to burst your bubble. And so, yeah, what is the church position in regards to women's bodies? Yeah, exactly like Lucifer's. What about agency? Well, there's this Book of Mormon precept warning against priestcraft, and that you shouldn't threaten other people to pay you or they will die. So does the Church of Jesus Christ have this Luciferian economic policy? And you're going to lie to me about Section 119, are you? I don't get it, Mormons. These are blatant, basic things that show that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a scam and a fraud. You should have caught on to it. You should have known, and you didn't. And so, Fox 13 News Utah is getting annoying for their loyalty to the church. Still, after a year, and we're coming on 2 years now, they still have on the brand new For You section, is LDS church culture under attack? Well, there is no such thing as the LDS church anymore because Jesus is offended. But 340K views in almost 2 years now. And so the picture shows the Salt Lake Temple, picture frame with books on either side, and you can't really see what the books are. LDS Church under attack, ? In order for the church to be under attack, they have to be the victims. They cannot be the aggressors. If you're the aggressor, you're the attacker. So you cannot claim to be under attack if you are the aggressor. So, anybody remember October 7th? No? Dear God. Again, it's not just Mormons that live in their little faith bubbles, pretending that all is well in their own private Zion. Only Idaho is Zion. Rexburg, Idaho, until it was defiled by Chad Daybell. Hamas. Hamas was the core causal attacker against Israel. And actually it was the whole world, because there were people from the whole world at those events that Hamas bombed, murdering those people, taking hostages. Hostages still being held hostage to this day. Hostages that are used to threaten Israel. Hostages that were hidden behind the civilians, hidden in hospitals, hidden in refugee camps, hidden by the UN, hidden by aid organizations. And yet, despite all of the blatantly obvious, everybody still blamed Israel. Trying to get their hostages back, trying to get Hamas to stop, and they won't stop, and so thus it's gonna stop when Hamas are all dead. People are not understanding this. Islam is over 2 billion worldwide. The Jews, they're around 16 million worldwide. And so the Israelis are not attacking Islam. They're not attacking the Gazans. They're not attacking Hamas. They're not attacking Hezbollah. They're not attacking Lebanon or Iran or Syria or Turkey or anywhere else. Israel are the victims. Blatantly obvious. And yet, we still have people claiming they're the victim when they're the attacker, who are supporting the attacker by trying to victimize the victim, Israel, and the Jews, by extension. Blatantly obvious. And so now, Israel, found out that a political leader of Hamas was in Iran. Why are they in Iran? You've seen the pattern all these months. You know exactly why he was in Iran. It's the exact same reason why Hamas hid with the hostages behind women and children, behind the hospitals, behind the refugee camps, behind the aid organizations, is so that they can create a mob mentality to further attack Israel, to exterminate them from the face of the earth. And so this way, being on Iranian soil, will now get Iran involved. They've wanted to be involved. They've been funneling weapons and other aid to Hamas. And so now Hamas, they're not innocent victims. They knew who he is and let him in for this reason, so that they can now justify being involved in the attack against Israel. Do not be fooled by deceivers. Isn't it a miracle? Trump, he must be Jesus. The resurrection has begun. His ear has been resurrected, perfectly restored to its perfect frame. It's as if he'd never been shot at all. I told you. I warned you. The WWE was the tip-off. He's being interviewed by Laura Ingraham. And I say being interviewed because he's already been interviewed. But Fox News are being bleeps by only releasing segments of the full interview for days now. Release the full interview. God. Because they have to edit Trump to protect them. Trump does not want to be protected. He says what he says and he means what he says. Just put it out there. Quit stringing us along. Trump, get mad at them for this. You can see his ear fully restored as if nothing happened. Not even stitches, nothing. Not even shrapnel. There was no way that ear was bleeding. Because now the video evidence, unless Laura Ingraham wants to confess that it's all a deep fake interview. Oh my God. So yeah, Trump's ear resurrected. Isn't that great? Mormon Church is true. So, one of the things I found out when I was studying further the Council for National Policy, as you saw me talk about it again in videos the other day, was that there was a connection to the creation of the Tea Party movement, in which the Council for National Policy literally created the Tea Party for the sole purpose of doing their will in Congress, to pass certain laws in Congress, to dominate, overthrow Congress with the Tea Partiers. And so, therefore, you can tie any of the Tea Parties still in office, even if they've converted to MAGAism, to this Council for National Policy. And thus, because the church is involved with it, to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is a terrorist organization. This is a secret combination. This is an insurrectionist movement. And so thus, the Tea Party is an insurrectionist movement. They are seeking to overthrow the government. And so, Utah's own Senator Mike Lee, Tea Party. I've already established the fact that Senator Lee is in there to do the church's will. We all know that. But I've also already established it as fact that Senator Lee is specifically in government to overthrow the government. Not just because of the church connection, but again, the Tea Party with the Council for National Policy, his comments supporting Trump. He's Captain Moroni. He's tearing down the kingmen to establish the free kingmen. The patriot kingmen. God. Senator Lee knows the Book of Mormon. That's why he's talking about Captain Moroni. And yet, he purposely deceives his Mormon audience, calling you stupid for not understanding that it's to prevent a king on the throne and preserving the constitutional republic. That's why they called it the Tea Party, because it's supposed to be about upset with the high taxation by England, King George. And so they dumped the tea so that they would lose out on the money altogether. Nobody's going to buy it, therefore no taxation. That was a great moment in the Revolutionary War, but for Senator Lee and this Tea Party movement to claim that they're doing the same thing is stupid. They're trying to establish a king. This is terrorism 101, bullying 101. We're the victim for attacking you. So, yeah, but also because of Senator Lee's third great grandfather, John D. Lee, murderer of women and children, trying to settle in the new land obtained by the United States after the secession from Mexico. So, yeah, this land here in the valley was literally the land of the Utah Indians. Everybody knew it. It was on the maps of the day. And yet, Brigham Young called it Deseret. Again, stealing from the Book of Mormon and altering it. Exactly what Mormons do to the natives with their culture and their products. You know, the dream catchers, for example. Mormons steal the dream catcher and completely change the cultural understanding of it to something else for Mormons. Cultural appropriation. But they're not racist since 1978. And remember how psychologists are being exposed as criminal frauds, going to prison, getting shut down, losing their licenses, being considered cash cows. Remember all that? Wasn't too long ago. Made the news nationwide, if not worldwide. So why then is ABC4 News Utah still pushing the psychological agenda of mental health? During Black Lives Matter protests, ABC4 News Utah pushed the police. ABC4 News Utah are on the wrong side of history. They're not news. They are a propaganda wing. Of course, all the news here in Utah is a propaganda wing, as Fox 13 News Utah still has the "for you." Is the church under attack? You decide. Yeah, they're now saying that getting outside is better for your mental health. Oh my God, really? You had to consult a psychologist for that, did you? God, it's just pissing me off. So it doesn't make any sense for Mormons to wait to be destroyed before believing the warning voice of the coming destruction. I'm speaking to you who are still listening after 27 minutes into this video. What good is it to listen to my videos, to agree with me, or disagree, and do nothing to prepare for the coming destruction that Trump has leaked like a sieve about? Remember Bloodbath? Still going on. They're now being exposed. Not just with Project 2025, but Trump again. He leaks like a sieve. And it's not really a sieve, it's more like he just leaks. Straight down. No resistance whatsoever. Exactly like the 9/11 report said of the falling of the trade towers. No resistance, they just fell straight down. Defying the laws of physics, straight down. Nope, it wasn't a demolition of whoever was not in charge of security for the building. Because the Bush brother, he quit a year before, and nobody was in charge of security. Just like Trump's ear, it was resurrected. He was shot. He said so. We saw the blood. It's not fake blood from a capsule that the WWE uses. Nope, not at all. So it doesn't make any sense, Mormons. Why do people just watch and wait for destruction rather than prepare and try to prevent it? Kamala Harris and her movement rally is telling her audience to spread the word about Project 2025. She's the vice president. She's not me. I'm the one who tells you to spread the word about the dangers and evils of Project 2025, posting it for you so that you can look it up and read it for yourself and realize, oh my God, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has written this. Because remember, Council for National Policy, whole bunch of Heritage Foundation people, all a part of it. But yeah, Trump had the guy fired, one guy fired. Not the guy, Robert, but the other guy. He's gone. Just like the Secret Service agent director, who Trump was able to get fired with this false flag operation of his. I told you who got shot, because it wasn't an assassination attempt on Trump. Trump was not the target. Trump didn't get hit. The firefighter got hit, supposedly. We never saw the firefighter get hit. We only saw Trump's act on stage. And so is anybody investigating the firefighter and the shooter? Is it the shooter? Or is it somebody else who's the shooter? We don't know because nobody was there. Secret Service weren't there. The police weren't there. They knew about the shooter, supposedly the shooter, an hour before. We assume that because he's browsing about the Kennedy assassination, that it must be because he's going to do it. Has nothing to do with Trump in a previous interview saying it was the CIA who murdered Kennedy. And so everybody was online Googling the Kennedy assassination, even the news. So everybody had it in their browsing history. Dear God. False flag operation. And everybody fell for it. And so, yeah, all to get rid of the Secret Service director. Because she's female. So, there's a danger coming. The Book of Mormon warns you about it, Mormons. In Mormon, chapter 1, verse 4, and 3 Nephi, chapter 7. That's my new picture for the national divorce, the bloodbath 2024. 97 days now. I created the template so that I can just quickly make the change every day. And remember to include it in the video. So I don't get you, Mormons. You talk all about the prophets, talking about the warning voice, but yet you will not recognize the threat that's right here, right now, and it's going to get worse. And it's going to culminate in the bloodbath, where all hell's going to break loose. This is where people have been falsely accusing me of being the one who's going to cause the bloodbath. And I did yesterday. People do not see that they are being used as puppet pawns to be the serial killers this November. I am warning about it, trying to prevent it, and it's all in vain because you want it. You want it, and yet you're victim blaming me of what you are attacking. And you can't figure it out. So say we all. Okay, so that paper can be thrown away. Lay it down with a Rat. Still good. It's a good song by Rat, especially the cover on the CD. There's a new person who found me overnight or last night. Senelian's Pride. So I've not heard of that kind of a name. Not sure where it's from. Is it Canada? I'm sure it couldn't be a betting horse. Although it sounds exactly like a betting horse name. I thought that the Kentucky Derby had already come and gone. Wasn't that a couple months ago or something like that? Isn't it around the time when they do the dog show? Anyway, the person says that I have beautiful eyes, blue eyes, and that it's very rare. Yeah, you have no idea how very rare my blue eyes are. Blue is not the dominant color for eye color. If you remember or got taught in your grade schools about the transfer into babies of the particular genes, and thus for the type of hair we have, the color of the hair, the skin color even, and the color of the eyes, the height, the width. I'm big boned. Okay. I'm sure it has nothing to do with being bullied by a psychologist to make you feel insecure about yourself and go use food to hide your emotional trauma after your hour-long psycho treatment as a cash cow to the psychos. I'm sure it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. And the reason why you went there was because of the bullies at grade school telling you that you're a fat cow from the Book of Mormon. And so you believed them, didn't report them to your teacher, and so you were constantly throwing up so that you became anemic. So then you went to the psychologist who bullied you to get fat again, to embrace your obesity, to make you feel better about yourself. And you don't realize it was the double whammy bullying abuse tactic 101. Just leave women alone. That's all you have to do, people. But they will not stop. They want blood. They purposely provoke people to fight them. And you don't get it. Biden doesn't get it. Kamala Harris doesn't get it. They are in the position to save America. MAGA will cause bloodshed. They're already working behind the scenes to set it up for the bloodshed, to rig the election, to set up people in positions of violence. That's why the Supreme Court allowed bump stocks. That's the choice of weapon for the Civil War II bloodbath 2024. You got to put all the pieces of the puzzle together in its context. Otherwise, you're going to be deceived and you're going to be caught off guard. And you will be victimized when you thought that you were on the winning side. So, my blue eyes does not come from my dad's family, because it's all dominant brown. My brother has brown eyes. 2 of my 3 sisters have brown eyes because of that, because brown is dominant. And so, it's not from my mom's dad's side of the family, because that's where the North Carolina plantation owner ancestor raped my 14-year-old slave girl ancestor, and thus maintained the dark brown eyes through that one. It's possible she had black eyes, being from West Africa, taken over as a slave with her parents. But his being brown also maintained the brown. But nope, it was my mom's side of the family, and not through my mom's side, my mom's dad's side, Yearsley. And this goes all the way back to Nauvoo, Illinois, where the first converted ancestor of mine became a Danite. And so I have my blue eyes and my height from a Danite ancestor, the one and only Danite ancestor. Everybody else were converts in after the fact. And so, I don't just make up my own history. That would be stupid of me. Why would I want to say that Michael Jackson is my father and Mickey Mouse is my grandfather and Frozen is my grandma? That would be stupid. Cute for a little kid, I guess. Though if they don't pull out of that phase, I'm going to be concerned. But I've been teaching you guys how to learn when you're doing your research on church history, let alone the scriptures, let alone on the words of the prophets. And so, this is how I know he's a Danite. Not an original Danite, because he wasn't baptized until the 22nd of July, 1841, in Nauvoo. He's only found in the Joseph Smith Papers biographies. David D. Yearsley. He was born 3rd of March, 1808, so he's younger than Joseph Smith by 3 years, 2.5. Died October 1849. Camp Winter Quarters. Born in Pennsylvania, Thornbury, Chester County. And so you can go to the maps and see where that's located in relation to church history sites. Is it north of Pittsburgh? Or is it Susquehanna River? Or somewhere else? He's the son of Nathan Yearsley and Elizabeth Worrell, married Mary Ann Hoops. There's my tie-in with both parents. Both parents have Hoops that tie them together. He was married to her 4th of September, 1830. So, 22 years age. Just barely an adult. You do know it was 21 back then, right? So when Joseph Smith got arrested for being a class looker, he was still a child. Yeah, because back in those days, they arrested children, locked them up. They didn't have no juvie court. And so, baptized, pay attention, into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, 22nd July, 1841, in Nauvoo. And instead of referring to the Joseph Smith Papers to provide the actual certificate and documentation, because they say, by Joseph Smith, assuming that's what JS means and it's not James Sloan. They quote a family book. And so obviously they have to rewrite history because the Danites ordered and threatened them to in 1838. But yeah, they didn't get a part of it until then. 1841. So you need to know the history. What happened? Well, there was election fraud, decertification of the election, threatening a judge and a sheriff to sign an affidavit saying that it was Joseph's fault. Joseph wasn't even there. He was in far west Missouri, which was 2 days ride away. These were the Danites. They called themselves out in that attack at the polling station. We are the Danites. They were not authorized by Joseph Smith. These were the Danites who were converted by Heber C. Kimball and Brigham Young from the beginning. These were those who wanted revenge on who saved America on 9/11/1826 in Canandaigua, New York, Freemason Lodge as the Master Mason. So, just as a warning for Mormons, to preserve your faith bubble, don't look up Wikipedia's Joseph Smith Sr. Stay away, don't do it. Maintain your faith bubble, church has to be true. Danites are the enemy. Danites changed the name of the church. They cooed Joseph's church. Joseph is in Liberty Jail. The Danites changed the name. A whole long list of changes. All accusations against Joseph Smith, which were to justify the secret combination Danites doing it. Oh yeah, stealing, Joseph Smith ordered us to steal. Joseph Smith ordered us to murder. Joseph Smith ordered us to rape and steal your wife. She's ours now. Your little girl, yep, she's ours. Joseph Smith said, he's doing it too. Oh, I heard it. Bullying 101. Liar, liar, pants on fire 101. And everybody fell for it. And so no, he was not baptized by Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith was not even in Nauvoo yet. Joseph Smith, the month before, had just gotten freed from being locked up because of the false accusations of the Danites. And he still had not made it. He didn't even know about Nauvoo yet. Because Adamon-Diamond was the secret headquarters of the Danites, and thus why they caused the war at the election fraud, with the election fraud. Because the guy that was running wanted to develop Adamon-Diamond. Didn't know it was already occupied. They didn't incorporate it. They didn't let anybody know. They were just living there. That was their secret headquarters. Newell K. Whitney, section 117. See how they forged that document to claim that Joseph Smith was against the Danites? And yet, the Danites in 1838 were saying that Joseph Smith was the leader of the Danites, that Joseph Smith approves of everything that they were doing. All of their murdering, plundering, stealing, raping, burning. Their insurrection. This is what they do. This is what Islam has done. This is what MAGA has done. This is the same old situation. It's also another good song that we can have in the description below. We'll see. So, ordained an elder, 5th September 1843. There's a document to the Joseph Smith papers. we can actually see that document, see what's going on. Stay away, Mormons. Don't do it. Maintain your faith bubble. Church has got to be true at all costs, even at your honor and integrity in the truth. Yep. The guy who forged the document is... You have to go to the original document because the type print of it leaves it out. Sort of. Well, let's see. Wait a minute. They say Willard Richards is the clerk or the recorder, or the recorder. One of the five. That's not the case in the actual document. Oh, yeah, for that one it was. Right. I went back to see what started the change. And the change was from Richard B. Thompson, who was clerk, until James Sloan took over on the 3rd day of October, the day after the last one by, 2nd of October. And so it was Robert B. Clark's last day on August 4th. And so September, 2 months until James Sloan resumed where Robert B. Thompson took over. But still, Robert B. Thompson was claiming that Joseph Smith was signing all of these. He signed Joseph Smith's name. It's not Joseph Smith's name, it's Robert B. Thompson's handwriting. He forged Joseph Smith's name, just like Sloan continued to forge Joseph Smith's name on other certifications for mission calls. It's all right there in the Joseph Smith papers. These Danites were framing and blaming Joseph Smith for all of this, when Joseph had nothing to do with any of it. Joseph is not there in Nauvoo. They're acting by proxy, accusing Joseph Smith of saying that the church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Whereas if you go back to the beginning of the book, it's the correct name of the church. 1836, boom, the Church of the Latter-day Saints. Joseph Smith finally got to Nauvoo in 1842. Published the visionary account of 1838. Put on hold because of the war against Joseph. The coup. And so there it is, the Church of the Latter-day Saints. And the Joseph Smith papers shows it was Willard Richards who added in Jesus Christ. Because Willard Richards, James Sloan, Robert B. Thompson, Brigham Young, Heber C. Kimball, they're all a part of the Danites. And so section 115. Oh, 1838, huh? Danite. It's a forgery. It's not by Joseph Smith. And so section 116. Oh, Adam on Diamond, huh? Secret headquarters of the Danites. And Joseph apparently is going to overthrow the government of the world in the United States of America, is he? So what's this 19 July 1840 by Joseph Smith, which is referring to his parable in section 101, verses 43 to so on. I refer you to verse 51 because he refers to it. And then goes on to say that the enemy is Brigham Young and his 12 and the Danites. So, yeah, Brigham Young did not publish that. Especially when Joseph said Brigham will murder him. And too many ex-foes get fooled. They don't see it. They don't want to see it. The whole thing has to be false, and so the whole thing has to be the same. And you get punked by Brigham Young. As they are involved in overthrowing the government. The Way to Perfection, page 290, 291. I created the picture and had it underlined in red for you. And just put it up there as a token to remind you that I know. You can't fool me anymore, Mormons. You can't lie and deceive your way into accusing me of being the terrorist, attacking the church. The Way to Perfection, page 290 and 291, is you are the terrorists. You are the seditious conspirators. You are the enemy. This church must be destroyed because you are the enemy. You are not under attack. You are the attackers. God. And so, yeah, you can see ink changing with signatures in section 116. Oh, fresh brand new ink on faded ink. Huh. Whole thing was made up. Joseph Smith never went there. He never declared it Adam on Diamond. He never declared this is where they offered sacrifices under Adam. Nope. Danites made it all up. Benjamin Franklin Johnson lied. Danites owned it. He moved with his family to Adam on Diamond and made up the story saying that a hooligan in Adam on Diamond, which was only full of Danites, arrested him, threatened him to deny the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. And he never denied his testimony of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And the pistol or rifle misfired. It never does that. Right, just like Thomas B. Marsh's defending his wife's honor over milk. No. Thomas B. Marsh signed the affidavit saying that the Danites are going to overthrow the government and overthrow the world in the latter days. Hey, here we are. Church has no claim on righteousness. They don't even have claim on authority. They stole the church and automatically amened it. And their authority to be the quorum of the 12 with just the keys of Peter, James, and John, not the keys of the president of the church, which is the keys of David Moses III. Got his picture. I used it yesterday. We'll keep using it. Alrighty. You got to know. And so, yeah, my ancestor also got rewarded by being placed in the Council for National Policy. Or not the Council. Council of 50. Where are you? Council of 50, 26th of March, 1844. This was the Danite secret combination government. Joseph Smith is now running for president. And so Brigham Young, in preparation for it, is plotting to have Joseph Smith assassinated. He's already been stealing money from Danites to support this coup that they have to do again because Joseph Smith got out and came back. And so, at the beginning, they had set up this Council of 50 as a secret combination government, unbeknownst to Joseph Smith. Though yes, they claim that Joseph and Sidney Rigdon and Hiram and others were a part of it. No, they weren't. Because Joseph is campaigning. He has no time to be a part of this council. He didn't even know about it. And so, David Yearsley is sent on a mission from May to November. Which, seriously, November? Did he not get the word? Plausible deniability. He's supposedly with Edson Whipple in Pennsylvania to campaign for Joseph Smith to be the president. This is all a push to get Joseph elected so that Joseph Smith would have been the original Abraham Lincoln. The Council of 50 would then emerge as Sidney Rigdon was the vice presidential candidate to convince Sidney Rigdon, now as the President of the United States of America, to invoke the Insurrection Act, which wouldn't be created until after the Civil War, but to declare martial law on the United States over the assassination of Joseph Smith, which they would be the ones who would do it. And they would have a patsy to blame and frame, a fake shooter who never did it. And then this Council of 50 would turn into the militant group, or the generals of the militant group, to establish martial law over the United States with the assassination of President Joseph Smith Jr. But you can see Joseph Smith got assassinated in Carthage jail by Willard Richards and John Taylor. So there was no need to push for the presidency. So the Council of 50 died down, along with many other things that Brigham Young didn't want. So yeah, the Confederates, which were the branch-offs from the 9/11/1826, they went to the South and formed the Confederates with the inverted pentagrams on the stripes, the crossroads for the location of Zion, to be the ones to prevent it from happening, to prevent the Jewish Christ from coming, to prevent Zion, New Jerusalem, from being built here in the Americas. And they're winning. They're going to do it. Mormons are going to vote for them. And so, yeah, I went with the first group to winter quarters in 1846, but died. Which is interesting. He actually went ahead of schedule because it was February 1846. January 1846, the temple was finished in Nauvoo, and Brigham Young had his second anointing to be king, as well as polygamously sealing himself in the book of polygamous sealings. Thus, it wasn't in 1843 by Joseph. And I don't get it, Expo never knows. You have no claim that Joseph Smith was doing it, other than the testimonies, lies, of those who went with the Danites and those who were Danites. Because if you read the Joseph Smith papers, even Joseph Smith's letters reveal he wasn't practicing polygamy. He only wrote to Emma. In Carthage jail, in Liberty jail, only to Emma. He didn't write to any other sweetheart, any other love. Didn't do it. only to Emma, his wife, his one and only wife. He would write to his brother, who wasn't in jail with him. But, oh, yeah, it's up there in the front. See, I have the Superman House of L curl with my hair, which came from my mom's side again. My mom, the Yearsley have the thick, full hair, but also so does the black slave ancestor. And so that's why it's dark and wavy and thick and full when I was a kid. Now I've got my dad's hairline. And it's gonna get worse, I'm threatened. But, I mean, to be abused by people on YouTube's comments, to say that I'm ugly and bald, really? You've never read the story about Elijah and the teenagers who were mocking him as bald? And what happened to the teenagers? Oh, bears ate them, huh? Mauled by bears? Are you unaware of the news story of bears here in Utah? They had to shoot one down so they could reopen the campsite. It's just, bullies they're stupid. They don't think. They just try to trigger other people and hope something sticks. And they don't realize they're exposing themselves as the enemy with their attacks. They don't get it. None of my videos are attacking the church. I expose the church as attacking us. And this is what Mormons cannot come to grips with. The church has to be true at all costs. So, are we done? Can I go on with my day now? We're over an hour. Keys. Am I really done with this paper? Waiting to be destroyed, victims of it. Now we need to keep this for the title of the video. Yeah. Mormons are not the victims. Mormons are the attacking enemy. Sorry, Mormons. You chose the wrong side of history. You chose to be the bad guys. So now that you know, now that I've exposed you, are you going to continue to lie and deceive and attack me? Yeah. Because that's all you know. Because when you tell a Mormon they're wicked and corrupt, they prove it. So prove it, Mormons. You do it every time.